Welcome back, everyone, to Stay in Your Lane. I'm your host today, John Mahle, brought to you by Triple T Transport. Today, we happen to have my favorite contributor on, Joe Lombardo, president and founder of Iggy Avenue and Associates Consulting. Joe spent 20 years running transportation for Nestle, North America, and before that, the western half of the United States with Nabisco. Taught transportation in the college level, the collegiate level, we will say. And now we have been fortunate to be good friends and share a lot of time and a lot of knowledge that we gain from Joe. Today's special guest is Paul Jaroslawski. Most of you know him from Freight Caviar. Some of you might recognize him from his Shipper CRM tool that I know he developed. And now you've got another company that you're working on, another project that we've seen for the past few weeks. Paul, would you like to share with us what that is?
Sure. It's a job board for the logistics industry. It's called freightjobs.co. It's all under the Freight Caviar umbrella. I just decided to also feature it on my LinkedIn profile just so that it gets more visibility out there. But overall, it's just a job board. It's if you're looking to hire talent, you could post for free. If you're looking to get more exposure, it costs $99 and we'll promote it in our newsletter and social media and stuff. But it's honestly, it's I wouldn't call it a separate company. It's technically just part of the Freight Caviar umbrella, just trying to expand our resources and help more in the industry, help others connect since we do have an audience. So that's the whole goal behind that.
Very good. Now, you and I have gotten to know each other at, I would say, a pretty good level by now. Um, but I would like to know if it's okay with you, if, we start at the beginning.
Hmm.
I know that most of the time when we talk, you're over in Warsaw, Poland,
Yeah, yeah,
and you bounce back and forth to Chicago, and then you pop up all over the place at different things and events.
yeah.
So your schedule's got to be hectic. But what did you start out doing? Where, as a young child, where did you grow up? Kind of give us the background.
Yeah, so I grew up in Des Plaines, Illinois, for the most part. Like from the age of 7, I was in Des Plaines, where I'm at currently. I'm currently in Des Plaines. Uh, so I grew up here. I did all my schooling. I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I finished in 2015. I was a psychology uh, bachelor's degree. I finished a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I was looking to go into get a master's since there's not that many options available after just a degree in psychology. But at the same time, I didn't want to take out more student loans, and turned out my fraternity brother, his father owned a brokerage in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and they hired me as a carrier sales rep. And so I figured I might as well go into logistics, see what I could learn. If I don't like it, I'll go back and finish my master's. And I worked there for a year at Trek Freight Services. They got acquired by Becker Logistics about 2 years ago. And after a year, I decided to leave, and I had some money saved up. My father worked for an airline here at Chicago O'Hare, and I had really low cost airline tickets called standby tickets. So with the 5K that I saved up over the year, I spent 6 months traveling around the world, and I thought I'll just go get my master's degree in psychology afterwards. But I came home absolutely broke, and I'm like, no, I need to go get a job now. So I reached out to CS Recruiting, a known logistics recruiting firm here in Chicago, and I know I was friends with the girl that worked there, and she got me 4 job interviews in one week, and I had all of a sudden 4 job offers, and I chose one company called Everest out of Evanston, Illinois, and I ended up working there from 2017, early 2017. And in November of 2017, they asked me if I wanted to move to Ukraine to open up an office for them. They had some people out there already working remotely, and they wanted to get it all into one office and build out an outsourced team. And me being 24 and single and living with my parents, I jumped on the idea. I'm Polish American, so I figured it's right next to Poland. I could go visit Poland all the time, and ended up going to Ukraine for and living there for 3 years and building out a team, and then moving to Poland. So yeah, that's a long intro, but that's I guess the story behind my career.
All right. Well, there is no path that everyone follows that's the same, and
Hmm.
there's no right or wrong for everyone. I think that speaks to the fact that you were, well, you lived on 6 months for $5,000.
Yeah, yeah. I did. I was an
That's
Uber
pretty
driver.
creative.
I was an Uber driver for about 3 or 4 weeks in between that, where it was like during a period where Uber was paying a lot of money, like $30 an hour, just to get drivers on the road. And so I had that like 5, 6K, and then I also made probably like a couple, like probably $2,000 being an Uber driver. So yeah.
Well, the psychology background I think helps you, on top of being very personable and having great people skills. I think that helps you immensely, and especially in the Chicago market, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Chicago's different than most other cities.
Yeah, yeah, it's
We've
definitely
talked about that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Joe, you have any questions for Paul?
Well, I just just want to make a comment. The fact that Paul was a psychology major. In my career, some of the best people I hired in transportation or supply chain were non-transportation people. I mean, I had a biology major who was probably one of the better analysts I ever had. So I really, it's you're hiring the person, not the piece of paper. So yeah, I like that fact that he started outside of logistics and has made his mark in logistics and different categories, jobs, Freight Caviar, which works with brokers, drivers, dispatchers, everybody. So it's a pretty interesting menu that he brings to the table. So I just wanted to just get that on it, just say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at myself, I think when I was, a small child, I always thought that, the trucks were cool going up and down the road, and I wanted to be a truck driver for a period of time, right?
Mhm.
Lo and behold, I didn't know that I would, choose to drop out of school, not because I was struggling or that I didn't have, good grades or I wasn't capable or any of those things. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and the opportunity at 19 to work at Triple T, was better than any other options that I had at the time. I thought so. Um, I think you always have to look back and say that there's always special people, though, early, especially in your career, that are pivotal.
Mhm.
Anyone special in your career, Paul?
Yeah, I definitely would say so. And I just finished actually reading the Michael Dell autobiography, uh, which is Play Nice but Win. And it's about like him building out Dell. And I'm just gonna say this real quick that along every stage of the company where he took it from, let's say, 0 to 100 million, then 100 million to like a billion, then a billion to 3 billion, and then even to 10 billion, he had special people, wise businessmen much older than him typically that came in and helped him like take it to the next level because he was just young and he didn't know what to do. And I would say like I'm in a similar situation, just like uh mostly focused like on the business that I have right now, which is Freight Caviar and Shipper CRM. Like I had Ryan Rogers from TextLocate reach out to me a few years ago, and he's older and wiser, and he's built businesses, and he reached out because he saw our audience on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey Paul, I'm launching TextLocate. I was wondering if you could, you know, give us a shout out, or if we could have some kind of deal where we could pay you and you could tag us in your posts and stuff." And I went on a call with Ryan, and I was like, I really liked him. You could tell right away. It's like that gut feeling. You could if a person's a good person or not. And I was like, Ryan, listen, like I'm in the situation where like I don't know how to like create a company out of this content that I'm creating, but like I feel like you could maybe help me along the way. What if I post stuff for free, but you could kind of mentor me along the way? And that's what we started working on, and it's worked out greatly. And he's definitely helped me tremendously, and kind of like shining the light on like the opportunities that are available. And then I would also have to say Tim Hyam, who's the CEO and founder of Ascend TMS. A few months after my conversation with Ryan, I recorded a podcast with Tim, and Tim after the podcast like, Paul, I like what you're doing. Like, how can we like sponsor you? How can we get our like brand out through the Freight Caviar audience? And Tim's been great ever since then. Like we've built a relationship. He's also an investor in Shipper CRM, which is our tech product. I visited him in Tampa many times, and he's just been truly just super helpful. He's sold many businesses, and he just has that wisdom, and also just he wants to give back because he knows that he had a lot of people help him get to where he's at, and he's just trying to pay it back or pay it forward. So.
Oh, I think that, I think that is a admirable quality. I don't know that anybody necessarily is successful on their own. I really don't believe that. I think it always takes special people, whether it be support, direction, advice, stability. You gain so much from your peers and the people that you respect. I was fortunate also. Mr. Sanfilippo that started Triple T Transport helped and mentored and gave me phenomenal direction and does to this day, right? So I think that you have to recognize that without these special influences, none of us would be where we are, and that's the value in the people, right? The understanding and the sharing and the communicating. I was invited to speak at an OIDA event from a good friend of mine, Louis Pugh, a couple weeks ago. Enjoyed it immensely. It's a great organization trying to set owner-operators up for success. And people that think they might want to be an owner-operator, they go through and help them understand a lot of the obstacles. And in our industry, 90% fail on the carrier side, right? So when you see such astonishing fallout numbers, and like yourself, we're passionate about the industry, and we want to help people. Our motives aren't revenue focused, right? And when you're not revenue focused, your motives are much more clear and genuine. They're usually much more successful. Right? I mean, I think that it always comes down to motive. So, how old are you now, Paul?
How old am
Yeah, how old are you now?
I am 31 years old. 31.
31. Okay, I got you by 20. Joe, I'm not even going to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm 20 more.
20 more than me?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So,
continue watching on the next episode of the Stay in Your Lane podcast.